Hey guys, this is Reuben Langdon, motion capture performer for Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 5, and this is an exclusive interview with ResidentEvilOnly.com. Well, it all started a long time ago when I was called into an audition for Resident Evil Code Veronica, and this was in Japan, and I was, at the time, I was doing a lot of stunt training, stunt acting after my regular appearance on Beef Fighter Kabuto. I had got to know a lot of the stunt agencies, stunt schools, and one particular one, AAC, I had been training with pretty regularly. They called me up, they had said they wanted me to audition for Chris Redfield. I went to the audition and I was the only white guy, which was interesting. But after the audition, they called me up, they said they really wanted to cast me as Chris, and the primary reason was because I was a native English speaker and the final product was going to be in English, and they wanted me to do all my lines in English while the rest of the performers did their acting in Japanese. So it was an odd experience, and I guess because of that is how I started my company with Just Cause Productions. Later we pitched to Capcom and some of the other game companies in Japan that they should just use English-speaking talent from the get-go, especially if their final product was going to be in English. So that was my first acting gig, motion capture acting gig, and we were using a tethered system, which is a bit different from the dots that you see on, or the reflective balls that you see on performers today, and the behind the scenes and what we're using and the modern stuff. But it was a magnetic tethered system, which I guess kind of uses gyros and magnets, and a very old, outdated system. A little bit of trivia: we were doing the mocap, and we could only be in there for about 2 or 3 hours at a time because this huge magnet system was there, and it was giving us a lot of headaches. Everybody would get sick and nauseated after a couple hours, and who knows what kind of, cell damage or radiation or whatever we were exposed to. But it was not fun. We all got sick and probably are going to have cancer in the future because of it. But we got beyond that, and now we are doing things with reflective balls that don't cause us any pain. Well, as I just mentioned, I was Chris Redfield in Code Veronica, and many years later, down the road, we were doing the motion capture for, we had been awarded the cinematics, the producing of the cinematics for Resident Evil 5 through my company, Just Cause Productions, and it was not my intention to be Chris, to actually even try out for the role. We had auditioned other folks, and we had another guy audition and actually get the part. He had worked with me on Avatar, and going through the process, we were doing a test shoot for motion capture and for video storyboards. And we were trying to get him on board, but he was in New Zealand for Avatar, and we couldn't get him in. And basically it came down to the wire, and we needed a performer. Capcom was okay with me kind of filling in, doing the test shoot. And since I had played Chris before, it was not that big of a deal. So I just jumped in, did the test, did the video storyboards. We presented those to Capcom, and still it was our intention to use the other guy. But Capcom, I guess after seeing the video storyboard and me coloring my hair and playing the role of Chris, they said, why don't you just play Chris for the whole thing? And I was like, oh, okay, if you guys want me to, then why not? So that's how that happened. It was a difficult challenge because I had to wear many hats. I was producing and running the company as well as playing Chris. But I guess in the end, it all worked out. It was a lot of fun. Well, it is like being the motion capture actor for any other character, I suppose. Only this guy has bigger muscles, and I had to pretend that I was huge. And I guess that was pretty epic and iconic. Or something like that. But no, it was fun. Playing him in the past was cool because that was my first time playing, I guess, a character that people were familiar with when I did Code Veronica. And, you know, it's good to brag about at parties, and people, you know, check me out and they feel my arms, and then they laugh at how small they are and, you know, how I'm not really, they think I'm lying. But that's cool, you know. That's part of the game. Then I tell them about motion capture and how we can fake it all, and blows their mind. Well, being the greedy person I am, I at first had a lot of problems with it, but once I heard Roger's, you know, sexy voice, that really kind of changed my mind. I was at first not comfortable sharing anything about Chris, you know, especially his voice or his face. But, you know, the moment that voice of Roger's pierced into my ears and, you know, really just made everything. It brought, on a serious note, it really brought a lot of life to Chris that I think even I couldn't do, because Roger, being such a talented voice actor, he brought an extra element in that I think really helped push the character of Chris and bring him across, especially with his big muscles, because that, you know, you need the right voice to go with that, and it was a good combination. Well, I would never turn down work, of course, and another Resident Evil character, I would have to say, I don't know, which, maybe a new one. You know, I guess it would probably be Wesker, but he's already got, there's already, Ken Lally did a wonderful job for him. So, you know, if it's a new character that maybe Capcom wanted to add to the series and would consider me playing, then that might be cool. But, you know, Chris is my man. I'm 100% All-American beef, and that's Chris Redfield. I have played most of them, I think. I think all of them, possibly. And the first one, of course, was the one that left the most impression. Playing it at night by myself with a broken leg in a graveyard, next to a graveyard, actually. Gave me chills, and I knew, because I had a broken foot, that I couldn't escape the evil spirits if they were to come and get me. So that was kind of scary and memorable. Otherwise, 5 is cool. 4, actually, I played a lot of 4. You know, I'm a big fan of 4, come to think of it. 4 really, you know, it was the turning point in the series that kind of switched from horror to more of an action horror type situation. So 4 was cool. And of course 5 was cool because I got to play myself. Yes, we are working with Capcom as a company, Just Cause Productions, doing some work with the Raccoon City voiceover stuff. Well, I got to work closely with, what doesn't even say in here, James Cameron, but he's a pretty famous dude. He made a small movie called Avatar. Got to work closely with him for about 4 years. Which was pretty awesome, you know, watching the guy work and seeing the whole process of Avatar come together. It was very inspiring, and one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing with the video games and motion capture technologies. Had a ball working with Jackie Chan again. He was my hero, my icon for many years growing up. and my inspiration, I should say, for doing what I do. And Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson, I got to work briefly with them on some testing for Tintin way back, almost in the beginning stages of Avatar. We'd been on Avatar for a few months, and they were interested in the motion capture and virtual camera technology that Cameron was developing for Avatar. And they needed some performers, so I got to work with Andy Serkis and Peter Jackson and Spielberg all in the same time, the same week. It was really cool. And those guys are, they're top filmmakers. They know their stuff, and it's always good to be, working with guys of that caliber. Watching them work, you always learn something. So I love it. I love working with creative people, and those are some of the more creative people in the industry, and well-known creative people. There's a lot of creative people in the industry, but I should just say well-known and inspiring and motivational. But yeah, it was good. I'd have to say that acting is my favorite of all. I do enjoy producing, directing, and the occasional stunts. But ultimately, acting is what spins my wheels, turns my bells, or rings my bells, and all that good stuff. So acting is what I enjoy the most. Well, I have email interactions from time to time. I do have a lot of friends on Facebook. I don't have a fan Facebook page yet. I think when I cap out at 5,000, I'll probably switch over, but it's kind of my way of reaching out to fans, I suppose. And attending conventions, anime conventions. I get called to attend a lot of conventions. The next one is YumaCon in Detroit, and that is, I think, the first week of November. So yeah, I love interacting with fans and talking with them because I'm a fan myself of the genre. I got into this world because I love games. I love anime. I love what I do. It's so much fun. I am currently living in the U.S., in L.A., but that's as far as I go. I don't want any stalkers. So, no, you can stalk me all you want. Anybody, come and stalk me. Live in L.A., and back and forth to Japan, not as much these days as I used to be, because we have the studio here in L.A., and my partner runs the Japan side. He's back and forth more. But back in the day, before we got the studio here, we were taking actors and performers to Japan. So I was there probably as much or more than I was in L.A. But I miss Japan. It's a great place, and I always look for opportunities to get back there. And that wraps up the interview with ResidentEvilOnly.com. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, and we'll talk to you very soon.